You know they say April showers bring May flowers, but today it's bringing houseplants. Hi, my name is Candace, aka Picasso Baby, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint your very own houseplant. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by to paint with us, and if you've been here before, welcome back.
You know you like that.
So, a few months ago, I started asking you all for some painting ideas. Anything that you would want me to do a tutorial on or that you would paint along with me on. I started asking for ideas. And thank you to all of you that have been leaving your ideas down in the comments. I am going to get through to all of them. A few months ago, Hannah, Hannah, she asked for a houseplant. Now, I've done a houseplant before, so I'm going to do another one, but it's going to be a little bit different today. So, I'm going to go over a few things that you need. As always, you are going to need a canvas. I am working with a 16 by 20 inch canvas, but you can use the canvas size of your choice. I'm also working with acrylic paint, and the colors I'm using, titanium white, chrome yellow, phthalo blue, Mars black, burnt sienna, and bright red. You also want to make sure that you have a few different size acrylic brushes, some paper towel to dry them off on, a water cup with cool water, and if you're 21 and up, make sure you have your adult beverage that's going to help you through this painting. If you're not 21 and up, just grab yourself a nice little drink. So let's go ahead and get started. So I want to start by getting my background mapped out today. We are not starting with the sketch today because we're going to be doing some layers. So we're not going to do a sketch today. And I'm going to do the top half of my background a color. And then the bottom half is going to be almost like a wooden table. So I'm starting with a bit of a bigger brush. And all I'm going to do, because I want my top background to be more of a pink color, I'm going to start with red. And I want to pull a line across. It's not too far down, but it's like not exactly at the middle either. So I just came a little bit below the middle, and everything above here is going to be my background color, and everything below here is going to be the color of my table that my houseplant is going to be sitting on. So what I want to do, I want to kind of create almost like a ombre. So I want to go from like a lighter pink to a bit of a darker pink. So I'm adding some white to my brush. And I'm going to paint at an angle. So I'm not going to paint all the way across. I'm going to paint back and forth at an angle. And if you want to do a different color, always remember this is your painting. You can definitely do the color of your choice. But I am just going to be doing some pink today. As I get further down, I'm going to start to pick up more red so that it's darker down here. Alright, so once you have your top half of your background filled in, we're going to start to do the bottom half. For the bottom half, again, I am going for more of a wooden color. So I'm not going to wash my brush off because I have red on my brush. If you did a different color, wash your brush off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up brown and a little bit of black. And I want to make that line again. So the same place I made that red line before, I want to kind of make that line again. And now I'm going to be going back and forth across until I get this filled in. And I want to go back and forth across so that you see the different colors in there. And if you want, this is if you're going for like a darker wooden color. If you would like a lighter wood, like a lighter brown wood, you can always pick up brown and white, or you can pick up brown, yellow, and white. And again, you just want to kind of make sure that you're going back and forth across to get those colors blended in together. And you'll see in some spots you can still see that brown, and other spots you can still see the black, and in some spots they're blending to make a darker brown. So that's exactly what you want, and that's why you want to go back and forth across until you get it all the way filled in. Keep filling this in. And as always, whatever you all would like to paint, please leave it down in the comments. I love your suggestions. I know the next painting that I'm doing will be a Mother's Day painting. So if you have a suggestion for a Mother's Day painting, please leave it down in the comments. And also, while I have you all, I've been thinking, I spend a good amount of time with you all. We spend time painting together. We chat back and forth in the comments. And I've been thinking that while I am painting, I should start giving you all little story times. It won't be anything that will like distract you from the painting, but a lot of times when I'm like doing a detail and I only have to explain it once, there's a little bit of time in between me explaining it and me actually finishing it up. So I figured, hey, why not start doing a story time with them when we have those few moments throughout the painting. So if you would like that, or if you think that would be a good idea, let me know down in the comments. Let me know something you might want to hear a story about or questions you might have. All right, now once you have that completely finished, again, we have the whole background on, but because we painted the whole background, before we can add on our plant, we do have to give it a few minutes to dry. So as always, you just want to step away from your painting for about 10 to 15 minutes, just to give it a chance to dry. But if you don't want to take that long of a break, please feel free to get a blow dryer. You can blow dry your painting, and then we will start on the next step together in a few.
Hurry up!
Now that our backgrounds are completely dry, we can go ahead and start to fill in our pot that the plant is going to be in, and then also our plant. So I am switching to more of a medium-sized flat brush. If you like the bigger brush, you can still use that one. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of white paint. And for this part, I'm just going to use paint to draw my pot out. But if you'd like to use like a piece of chalk, you can use a piece of chalk to draw the pot out, and you can paint right over the chalk. So I want to decide about how big the bottom of my pot is going to be. So I'm just going to pull a line across like that. And you can choose the shape of your pot. I just want mine to be just like a little regular pot. So I'm going to pull 2 lines out at an angle. And then close it on up. Now what I am going to do for the top, I am going to extend this line out just a little bit, and I'm going to come down and create like a rectangle. So that's just like that top lid of the pot. And you can make your pot whatever color you like. It's completely up to you. I'm going to mix up almost like that traditional clay color. So it's kind of like almost like an orange. So I'm mixing up red, yellow, and white. So I'm mixing that first to get my orange. And remember, just start out with a little bit of red, because the more red you use, the darker it will be. But once I get my mixture, so I mixed up a little bit of red with yellow, a little bit of white. I'm going to add some brown into there to kind of make that orange a bit darker. Again, like that traditional clay color. And once I have that, I'm going to go in and get my pot filled. And again, if you did decide to paint your, or to draw your pot on with the chalk first, you can paint right over the lines. Same thing if you drew it with white paint, just paint right over those lines you created. And for that top layer, what I'm going to do so that you can really see the difference, that rectangle, I'm going to add a little bit of white to my brush along with the mixture, that orange mixture, so that it comes out just a little bit lighter. That way you can see the difference between the two. Just getting that completely filled. And before I start to add any of my plants, I'm going to give that a second to dry, but I'm not going to really take a break. I'm going to go back in, and wherever you feel like it's a little transparent, you can always go back in and add a little more paint there. I picked up just a small amount of white on my brush, so that it's not as opaque in those spots. And also what I'm going to do, I am going to add a shadow on my pot so that it really looks like it's sitting on the table. So I'm going to keep using this brush, but I am going to wash it out. And my table is already pretty dark, and right where it's sitting at, it's almost like a darker brown. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of black. And if you want to mix some brown in there to make it a darker brown, or if you did a different color, let's say you did a blue table, for example, what you would do is mix up blue and a little bit of black to make it a bit darker. And then all I'm going to do is kind of copy the shape that's already there. So it's just a simple line, and I'm just doing a little bit right at the corner here. And again, that part is optional. If you don't want that step, you definitely can skip it, but it just gives it a little bit of a shadow, helps it look more like it's really sitting there. I'm going to pull a little bit on the side too. Just to give it that shadow effect. And once we add in the plants, we can even add a little bit of shadow under the plants. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep using this brush, and I am going to mix up my green. So I'm going to be doing layers of green to make it look more realistic. So I'm going to start off with a bit of a darker green. So I'm going to take a really good amount of that blue and add a little bit of yellow to it. Again, because I want to start out darker, I'm going to even add a little bit of black to really give me that dark green. Now, if you did a darker background, like let's say, for example, you decided you wanted a black background at the top and you need your plants to look lighter, you can always go up a few shades to start off with and then go even lighter. So I'm just doing some really simple leaves, nothing too much. Some of them are going to be going straight up, some of them are going to lean over, but I'm going to do the ones that are standing straight up first. And I just want to put some lines where they're going to be at, and I don't want them to all be the same height. And you can curve some off to the side, but I'm going to pull some more. And then what I'm going to do to go back and make them bigger, I'm going to go back in and just flatten my brush down to the pot. So because I'm using this wide brush, it kind of makes the shape for me. But if you want to make the shape, what you can do is go back and pull a line just like the line you started with, and fill it in. So you have a few options on how you can make your plant a little bigger. And also keep in mind, if you wanted to do a different type of plant, you definitely can. What you would want to do is kind of try to mimic the shape of the leaf you want or the plant that you want, but it's pretty much going to be the same as far as layering the different greens to really bring your plant to life. I started off with those, but I'm going to add a few more that are kind of hanging over the pot. And remember, you want them to all be different sizes and different heights. So for example, I'm going to pull one right outside of the pot. So you see how I started at the top and I pull it down over? And that's optional. If you don't want any like that, you definitely don't have to do that part. But I kind of like when some are just hanging outside of the pot. Now that we have that, and we have that first layer on, now I'm going to go back in with my next light layer. So right where I mixed up that first darker green, I'm going to go back in and add some more yellow to it to lighten it up. I'm going to also add some more blue to it. So you want this one to be a few shades lighter than what you started with. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going back in and adding that right on top. And I'm not covering all of the green. I'm kind of just pulling some down the middle or to one of the sides of each leaf. But I don't want to cover all of that darker green. We want that beautiful dark green to show just as much as we want these lighter greens to show too. And once you have that, now we want to go lighter. We want to keep adding to it. This time I'm going to actually add some white into the mixture. So I'm still using the same brush. If you need to switch to a bit of a smaller brush, you definitely can. But I'm going even lighter this time. So I'm going about 2 to 3 shades lighter. And now I'm going to go in, and I'm not putting this everywhere. I'm kind of just adding a little bit onto each leaf. And once you add on this color, you'll be able to see that you have different shades on your leaves. But the last thing I'm going to do, as far as the leaves go, I am going to go to a smaller brush, and I'm going to use some white this time. And now I'm just kind of going in and doing a little highlight on each leaf. And you don't even have to do it on each one. I'm just kind of, you see I'm adding those little white lines. But you want to make sure you're following the shape of the leaf. But I'm not going to do it on each one. I don't want it to be overwhelming or too much. Do a little here. And a little bit right there. I'm going to go back in with the color of my pot. So if you don't have that color anymore, you want to make a little more. I'm making a little bit more of that color. And I'm still using this small brush that I use to do those white highlights. And what I want to do with this color, I want to go in and kind of clean up this area where it's like the plant is sitting right on top of the pot, or it's like it's kind of going over a bit. I want to clean that area up so that it looks like the plants are in the pot. So I'm just going back and lining my pot up, cleaning that line up. And you want to take your time with this part. You can definitely give it a few minutes to dry if you like. That way you don't like pick up any of the green. If you do pick up some green, it's completely fine. It gives it that really realistic look. But you see how I'm kind of going in and making sure I'm pulling that pot right over the bottoms of these leaves so that it looks like the leaves are actually sitting in the pot, which is what we want our houseplant to do. And then I'm going to keep using this brush, and I'm going to add a bit of a shadow in a few different places. So right here where I have this leaf that's hanging over, right under there, I'm taking a little bit of black. And again, you can use whatever color you used for your shadow of the pot. I'm taking a little bit of black and making a mark under there. I also have a leaf that's curved over here. I'm going to come right at the top of the table and make a little shadow there. And it's just a little line just kind of under where the plant curves. And once you have all of those things in there, if there are any extra details you'd like to add, like if you want to do any designs on your pot, if you want to do any designs in your background or on your table, it's completely up to you. But the last thing I am going to do is just simply sign my name. So what I want to do, I'm going to sign it right on my pot. Because I remember in school when we used to do plants, or we would make plants for like Mother's Day or different holidays, and we would always like paint the pot or paint our names on. So I just want to paint my name right on there. And once you've added your signature, you now have your very own houseplant. So the good thing about this beautiful houseplant that you have created is you don't have to water it. You don't have to do any maintenance. You just have to hang it and enjoy it. So thank you guys so much for painting with me again. I do appreciate you as always. We have been painting together for a little over a year now, and I have enjoyed it so much. So we will be at 2,000 subscribers soon, and as soon as we hit 2,000 subscribers, I am going to be giving away a paint party kit. I might do more than one, so please make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you like and comment. Let me know if there's any paintings you would like to do, and also let me know about the story times if you'd like to hear some while we are painting. And don't forget to turn on those post notifications so that you do not miss the next tutorial. Thank you, and I'll see you guys soon.